You and your team are planning to, form parties and all that. Is this the right time? Why are you campaigning before you have been invited to campaign? Why are you fearing to wait for the rules to be let out?
Before I can answer that, I think I spoke to you earlier in the day. As a Ugandan, I have to warn Entebbe Express Highway road users. It's a rainy season, it's too slippery. Today I narrowly survived an accident. And I was not overspeeding, I was between 60 and 70. So if we're using Entebbe Express Highway and it's a rainy day, please, as possible as you can, limit your speed. Otherwise, we want to see you alive. Now, you said we've not started the campaigns. We are consulting Ugandans.
Consultation?
Yes, there's a big difference between the campaigns.
That rally you held in Arua?
It was not we are consulting. You've just said it. The World Cup is in Qatar. The next one is in the US. 2026, I think. Teams are already preparing. You get it? So we traveled to Arua, we've been to Mbale, we've been to Mbarara. We are going all over the country. We are consulting Ugandans. What are the challenges they are facing? So that by the ample time we have the answers to their problems. But as far as campaigns are concerned, we are not campaigning. And if you did ask me my honest opinion, I don't believe we should have elections in Uganda, personally. Even after 5 years, the elections in Uganda. Have the lives of Ugandans improved? Ugandans need stable electricity, running water, good roads, good hospitals, and good schools. All of us are watching Qatar now. Are there elections in Qatar? No. Are there elections in Saudi Arabia? No. Are there elections in Dubai? No. The countries we admire so much, the countries like China, how many times do we hear about elections? To me, the topic should have been, yes, you are saying you guys are preparing for elections, your campaigns have started. Do we still need them? Even after 5 years, Ugandans participate in elections. Have their lives improved? Why I must supplement on what Honorable Babu said, when he consulted the Uganda Electoral Commission, he was told there is no law stopping Ugandans from campaigning. And some ministers, like my friend who happens to be the chief whip, the moment he attends the function to meet Selali. We can't wait for our competitors to set guidelines. We have to be on the ground.
We cannot wait for our competitors to set guidelines.
No way. No way, we can't. We can't wait for them. For them, they are campaigning. For us, we are consulting. When the time comes, that's when we shall sort ourselves, boys and men. You get it? We cannot allow that. But we've not had a single rally. I know what a rally is. Because Ferrari must authorize you, they must give you guidelines. But what we are doing now, we are consulting. And we are doing it day and night. I think something that is new in Uganda is the power of the social media. Because our Supreme Leader puts up one tweet and it's everywhere.
Supreme.
Yes, our Supreme Leader, General MK. One tweet and it's everywhere.
I nearly thought it was the Kibuli man.
You get it? Yeah. Because for us who are under him, we take him as our Supreme Leader. He puts up one tweet. By the way, he has changed the way Ugandans communicate. Because in every WhatsApp group that you know of, you'll see MK's tweet. Unless our brothers think that's another way of campaigns, then the laws must be changed. But as far as I know, we are moving day by day. Actually, we are having nationwide consultations. We are having leaders from at every level. Because by the time we are out into elections, we must know what are we going to address.
So who do you think the NRM was talking about, if there is no campaign?
Who said? Mr. Tango, no. The Secretary General?
The Secretary General.
I don't know whom he was telling. Because he has
You don't think you are the one? Do you want to ask Honorable Bua, when he says, having had what was transpiring within NRM, who do you think they are referring to?
If he was talking to NRM, we don't belong to NRM. Absolutely. He was ganging NRM. NRM voters. For us, we are not targeting NRM voters in our constituency. We don't belong to him. He cannot even command us on what to do. We know who tells us on what to do. You get it?
You guys are just cunning.
No. He has an office at Chadondo, isn't it? He has an office at Chadondo. He has the right to gang his members under his structure. But the press release, I think the headline I saw on the top of New Vision does not even affect our operations.
So for you are going to continue
We,
with the
even
consultation?
after a year, we are moving 24 hours. Even after a year. And as I'm seated here, meetings are going on. Actually,
Charles.
before coming here, I attended the meeting at Katikati. You're getting it. Yes.
Charles, I wanted to ask my brother a question.
Please go ahead.
You know,
And feel free to ask
Yes,
yourselves questions.
yes.
Let's keep it a discussion.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, General MK is a very interesting individual.
Yes.
And you're correct that his tweets actually, you know, the moment he tweets, it goes all over the place.
Yes.
What I'm only, there's only one thing I'm concerned about, is that as peace-loving and law-abiding citizens,
Yes.
all that we do should be done within the ambits of the law.
Yes.
If you look at, this democracy that we see is a fractured democracy. At one particular point, and not very long ago, Uganda was a failed state.
Yes.
By 1986, Uganda was a completely failed state. For us, some of us, we lived in it. And so we have progressed this fragile democracy to now. We have not yet perfected that democracy and our union. But we have put in, fundamentally, we have very important laws in place in the country. That has really kept us, to a greater extent, safe. MK is a serving military general, still in uniform.
Yes.
The UPDF Act says that, and the Constitution, by the way, the UPDF Act says that when you are in uniform, you should remain completely apolitical. Don't get involved in party politics or anything.
Yes.
It is within his democratic right to stand. So the question is, how do you then balance the Constitution, the UPDF Act, in terms of his participation aggressively in politics? Because if I were in his position,
Through consultation.
yeah, I would I would talk to the relevant authorities within the UPDF and the Command-in-Chief and say, you know, as a serving general, I respect this uniform and the institution which I've served diligently for many years. But where my interest is, like in America, generals actually, you serve for a certain period and you leave. You must not stay there. That's also another problem.
It's 3, 5, 7, 9 years.
Yes, you go. So it's only here where generals are kept.
No, after 9 years in America, you can stay for good.
You can stay for good.
Yeah, if you want to.
If you want. So the generals we should reach a point also and say, if a general wants to leave, we should make it easy for them to leave and be politically active. So my question to you is that, don't you think that your activity violates the very laws that have kept us safe, especially given our history and the kind of violence that this country has gone through because of political and military activities?
My senior, first of all, General MK has not come out and said he's standing for the presidency. He hasn't. We know he's still behind the bars. He's still in the military. When you're still a serving arm officer, you have to go by the rules of UPDF. But we, as his fans, people who believe in him, people who believe that he qualifies to be the president of Uganda, and we know he's the next president, by the way. We believe we have the right to do work on his behalf, as long as we don't tamper with the laws of Uganda. First, if we are having a consultative meeting, let's say in Masaka, we notify all security bodies, Uganda police, blah, 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 so that there is no scuffle there. That's what we do. As I speak now, we've not violated any law. And again, the president of Uganda, General Yoweri Museveni, There are people who believe he still qualifies to be the president of Uganda. He has a big constituency of Bazukulu who are saying Tova Kumeini that President Yoweri Museveni should continue leading this country. Those Bazukulu are traveling house to house, constituency by constituency, saying that the best president General Museveni can give this country called Uganda is to stand in 2026. You get it? They have their right to say that President Museveni qualifies to come in 2026, as long as they don't violate the laws. The way we are saying that we believe it's the right time that our brother MK is discharged from the military and he takes over the presidency, as long as we don't break the laws, the way the supporters of President Museveni are saying. And I have many friends who don't believe in General MK, and they still believe that President Museveni should lead this country. As long as we don't fight each other, as long as there is a honest conversation the way we are here, I don't see any problem with it.
Okay. Good. Good time to have the exchanges.
But by the way,
yeah,
before you can even bring in the exchanges,
yeah,
the vice chairman of NRM, Haj Moses Chigongo, has endorsed President Yoweri Museveni to run in 2026. Several ministers, Honorable Mululi Mukasa, General Tafire, many retired army generals have come out to say that President Yoweri Museveni should be on the ballot paper. The only thing I know, when General Yoweri Museveni appears on the ballot paper, be sure that is the president-elect.
You are sure?
That one I know. The moment he appears on a ballot paper,
even
be
you,
sure.
even you, the potential competitors.
As long as we are not in the race. But the disadvantage we have, the only person who can discharge our candidate is him. He's the commander-in-chief. You get it?
That's a huge disadvantage.
That's a huge disadvantage. That's why we are not bombarding General Yoweri Museveni with insults. No, we are requesting him
to release.
Because you cannot work on Museveni with blackmail. You can't.
You are requesting him to release.
Yes, to release our lion, you know. You get it? That's what we are doing.
Now these guys are going to ensure that
as long as he's on a ballot paper,
he will not release your candidate.
Be sure he will be in Kololo as the president-elect.
Now,
get out of their problems. How do we tell a person your child will go to school after so many months and the school fees will be available? How do we tell our people when you go to the hospital, the medicine will be there? How do we tell our people that we can repair the road to go to your place so that you can take your produce to the market?
Okay.
Those are the things I want to hear.
Good.
This melodrama, no.
Now, that's a new kick in the game for all of us. Who is going to... Frank, do you want to control that ball and play it?
But I think I started it. I said at the start of this show, we've been electing leaders every after 5 years.
There is no change.
Do you see those elections impacting the lives of Ugandans? The answer is zero. A caller, whatever, was it a tweet or a post from Arua, he was complaining about the roads. It's the same. The road from Nyendo to Gomba, it's impassable. It's as if we are living in the 16th century. Leaders must impact lives of Ugandans. Unfortunately, I don't see that happening. The level of extravagance in government, it's unbelievable. When you see top technocrats, ministers, the type of lives they live, for us who happen to see them on the streets of Kampala, it's unbelievable. But what do? Senior citizen Francis Babu, he has talked about the recession. Now, a person seated in Masaka, in Arua, in Mbarara, how does the recession you are discussing, Lady Ramadhan Gobi, Dr. Ezra Suruma, the best brains ever to lock themselves in a hotel somewhere and find solutions? Because my mother seated in Masaka, for her she does not even know what recession means. For her what she wants, if she can afford a kilo of sugar, if she can afford a kilo of meat. So there are things that should be left to the best brains to do the economics. I can tell you, Captain Francis Babu, you are not alone. We are also dying silently. Everything's messed up in this country. Everything. But we don't see solutions to them. We don't see. You've talked of radio stations. If I was even the president of Uganda, there are many things we must change. What we broadcast on air, on social media, it's the same. You can hardly find a conversation to do how do we live a better Uganda for our children. You can hardly find one. When you watch our MPs on the floor of parliament, you wonder, is this a parliament of what? When you attend an event where technocrats are, you wonder, you can hardly hear a word, a country called Uganda. It's about the present, not the future. Chairman Mao Zedong of China made a brilliant statement that democracy will return to China 300 years after his death, that ordinary people want social services, hospitals, schools, the infrastructure. Do we see it in Uganda? And by the way, even if we put up the best roads, like those we see in the Middle East, what are we doing on those roads? We may be having good roads, but it's Rugambo on the roads. These roads must be carrying productive activities. Do we see it? Again, it goes back to Captain Francis Babu. He talked about the mindset. Unless we work on the mindset of the youth. My minister, Honorable Obo, I had a meeting with him, and the meeting was rotating about the mindset. Why is it that every plane we board, when you're flying out of Uganda to Dubai, 70% of occupants are our youth traveling to do those terrible dirty jobs in the Middle East? And when you board the same plane, 70% of occupants are Chinese and the Indians coming to Uganda. What are those opportunities they see in Uganda that we can't see? It's taking us back to the schools where our children go to. Do we meant our children to pass P7, Senior 4, Senior 6, and the university? Those are the questions we should be having. If I was party to this government, we should lock ourselves in a hotel or in Sese or in Arua. What can we do to the mindset of the youth? Okay.
I host you Otuke district.
Yes. We need serious solutions. When you see the level of anger in the youth, and sometimes you sympathize with them. Look at a young boy who graduated from Makerere, from Mobs, from Chambogo. 4 years on the road, he has no job. And you find the same young girl. I met a young girl. She graduated from Makerere as a lawyer. From Makerere, she went to DC. And those that have been to DC tell you that graduating from DC, it's a battle. The girl graduates from DC, and the salary someone can offer her is 450,000 Uganda shillings. Can you imagine? That's like $100. Those are the things we must be discussing, and those are the things we discuss with MK. We are not simply saying MK is a potential leader. He must come up with solutions. It's not as easy as you may think. We need practical solutions. Back to the politics, you said that campaigns have started. Do you know how it started? This social media radio revolution to do with the MK is the one putting up fire everywhere. On the 19th of October, the office of the national chairman of NRM, I don't know how they mobilized the youth, Abazukuru, and they said the president of Uganda should stand.
But by the way, I want to ask you something. What is this Bazukuru thing? Where does it come from?
It's the same with the MK thing.
I am sorry, I would like to ask.
Grandchildren.
Because in Buganda, the Bazukuru has a meaning. What is the meaning in this particular aspect?
In Uganda, I think these are grandchildren. They look at Yoweri Museveni as their grandfather.
No. In Buganda, the clan leader is called Jajja. And therefore, anybody in that clan is a grandchild of that Jajja.
Yes.
The other definition of it is like me now, who have got children. Yes. Those are my grandchildren. Now, this Jajja you're talking about is a grandfather of who?
There are Ugandans who look at President Museveni as their grandfather.
Who are these?
These are the people endorsing him.
Oh, so when you endorse a politician, you become a grandchild.
No, according to them. And usually, who started this Bazukulu word? Who started using the Bazukulu whatever? It was President Yoweri Museveni. And they are saying...
You know, the reason I asked, because in Buganda it's a very, very important word. For a clan leader, let's say any clan, you can choose a lion, a leopard. The man at the top is the judge of that clan. And therefore, everybody there is the muzukuru of that man. Now, I was wondering whether that is the context they are using, or if they are using the other context where the ordinary person is a judge to his grandchild.
Now, Honorable, if a young boy of 25 or 30 years meets you on the streets of Kampala and he calls you Tata, would you slap him?
No, I'm not putting in that context. You see, the problem with our people here, I brought it in a very nice context.
Yeah.
I wanted people to understand.
Yes.
Where does this Jaja come from? If it is the clan system, then it makes sense. If it is the Jaja that is the Jaja of a son, the son has got children, then that is also understood. So I wanted to know which context is being used here.
Now, this is the way I was bringing it up. So, this Bazukulu launch, the 2026, they are not requesting him. They are ordering him to stand in 2026.
Yeah, but Mr. Gashumba,
Yes.
this is not the first time. When we were in Chankwanze some time ago,
Yes.
somebody who is a minister now
Yes.
actually knelt.
And actually, if I can supplement on what you are saying, the president said in Kololo, it's not time for politics.
Absolutely.
But the same president in 2019, I think 2019, when the Honorable Rafael Magezi started this bid of removing the age limit, the president was interviewed and he said, no, and those are idlers, they have nothing to do. You get it? And deep in him, there was a covert operation. For us who have lived in Kampala for some time.
So could this thing you're talking about now, of MK and his father, be a covert operation?
No. The MK team is totally independent.
No, but you said earlier on that if the old man comes, MK will not be coming.
Yeah, because
so is that already an agreed principle? You know?
General Yoweri Museveni, as long as he's the president of Uganda, is still ahead of everyone. He's still ahead of everyone.
Oh yeah, he's a president.
He's the president.
Yeah. Fountain of
Even
honor.
if Muhoozi wants to be the president tomorrow, unless he launches a coup, which is impossible here, which is impossible. The only person...
But he can stand.
He can stand, but who discharges him from the military? It's his father. One thing that we've successfully...
Oh, I thought it was the Army Council. I didn't know it was the father who discharges people. I thought it was the Army Council. But anyway, go ahead.
Senior, let me tell you.
As commander-in-chief.
Now, as the commander-in-chief, I think at the level, there are levels in the military where the commander-in-chief must be party whom they retire.
Yes.
I think so. That's
No,
what I think.
you know these things we must learn.
Okay, because I think the ranks of captain and below, the commander-in-chief is not involved.
Oh,
but
okay.
I think if you are at the level of a general, the commander-in-chief.
Oh, yeah.
But something we've achieved, people who believe in General MK as our next president, the ability to discuss him. It's called brand awareness and brand visibility. And something that I'm happy
You've
of.
now gone to marketing, are you?
Yes.
I'm going to soon charge him.
I'm telling you this.
I'm
telling you
soon
this.
going to charge
One of the
him
things that I'm happy of.
for the advert
we
that
no
he's
longer,
doing.
you can't, out of people that discuss General MK, out of 10, 7 are discussing.
But let me ask you a question. How about if another young man comes up who is as smart
Yes.
and actually campaigns, uses the method of consultation?
Yes.
Will you people accept it?
Me? I have no powers to stop him.
Your group.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
That's very, very...
You won't believe it. How many friends you
That's
have?
very considerate of you.
Charles,
Yeah.
I want to come here and ask a few questions as well.
Yes.
Please go ahead. Honorable Minister, you can also ask him. And just like he's asking you.
You know, like my elder said, we have a lot of issues to address
In this country.
in this country.
Yeah.
About our economy, our the convergence of nation states, socio-economic
Yeah.
issues,
National unity.
those national unities, the kind of the aspiration of Uganda we want.
Yeah.
There are a lot of issues that we can discuss. But President Museveni one time said the fundamental issue is about what, not who. And my question to my brother here, because even as they sit now, they are still part of NRM. Even the MPs who support MK, they are still elected on party ticket. The question is, what is it that they want to cure? The bottlenecks that they have seen, and the kind of approach which you have said. Key issues, because this should be around issues. What is it that you want to address?
What's the nuisance?
Yes, what's the nuisance that is disturbing you, that you're saying, you know, we, these people, and I've listened to him several times.
In law, we call it the mischief.
The mischief.
What is the mischief you
they,
want to
they want
address?
to cure. And he has fundamentally, you know, constantly mentioned it. Nothing is working. Elections is even not election is not even solving the problem.
And
Yes,
I think Honorable
elections are
Boy
not
should
transforming
respond to
people's
that.
lives. Actually, Honorable,
Yes.
elections in Uganda transform lives of people who are being elected and their families,
Yeah.
not the ordinary voter. Because my where I hail from, Masaka, in Masaka, they are not interested. Who is the president of Uganda? They want functioning hospitals, good schools,
Yeah.
stable electricity. Honorable Bua, we are watching World Cup, but you won't believe it. Umeme switches off power.
No, they don't switch off.
Yeah.
They just go off.
37 years of NRM, 60 years after independence.
My brother, I want to finish the question so that you can respond either the minister or yourself. And then Charles, my brother again, severally said, we don't need parties or even democracy, because every year we are having an election, and it's actually meaningless. So we need to have one person come here, poop, and then fundamentally continues transforming the country. The question I ask is, constitutionally there are mechanisms of capturing power or ascending to leadership. In your worldview, how do you think that can be attained? Because if I want to be president, and I don't believe that elections matter and parties matter, or what, so what mechanisms are you going to use to access leadership or presidency so that you know, you can govern? And then the last one, also relating to law, is that as far as I know, the presidential and parliamentary elections laws indicates that if you want to do consultation, you are allowed to do it, I think, 2 months prior to nomination. I think it's is it 1 year or 2 months? It's a limited period of time.
Yeah, before you give us the answer, let me give you something.
Yes.
Very interesting. Let's not have historical amnesia.
Yes.
When we were going to the CA, Constituent Assembly, we didn't have parties, we didn't have anything. We came out with a system where candidates would go together
Yes.
to a village.
Yes.
Joint political rallies.
All of them would be in a political rally, and each one of them would speak.
Yes.
And the people elected. If you look at our Constituent Assembly, probably one of the best.
I agree.
The people in there were of class and they were cream of this country.
Yes.
Then came 2005 when we went multi-party. From that day, we were put on top of the hill. We've been descending that hill at such a fast speed
I agree with you.
that we are beginning to fall on each other.
I agree.
So all I was trying to tell you is that something was being done then which seemed to work. And we quickly ran away from it and jumped into the fire. Because it was beginning to work. I was hoping that we would capture that scenario, continue with it to build the foundation, so that we had a very strong foundation. Unfortunately, we never did, because we were in a hurry to do something else. So what you are seeing now are the consequences of our indecisive reasoning that we did around that time.
Okay.
So, you know,
Sarah
I wanted
just-
to-
I need Honorable
Sarah
Bua.
just text me something here that regarding the consultations they are doing. She says here that you write to EC and EC authorizes you, but there's no time limit. That's what she's saying. But I think we can cross-check.
There's no time limit.
Yeah.
Okay.
So which means
let me
can do
the
that.
honorable Bua, as government, I don't want to miss you to respond to for the sake of our viewers. Honorable, not yet honorable, but Frank Gachumba says something which he has repeated it, and which I think in his argument seems to be that this is why we have been driven into the consultation. You know, I like the word, these guys are very cunning, that we are consulting. But he says that one, that there is nothing that works, that everything right now in this country has gone wrong. That's number two.
That's what they
And
want to
that
cure.
we have been driven into this consultation and we are discussing with he called him our supreme leader, how Uganda can work better. Is that, Honorable Bua, an expression of some kind of indictment on your government, your administration, when the team that is doing the consultation suggests that everything is failing?
First and foremost, let me answer what Honorable Paul had posed, which was anchored on the mischief rule. That in doing whatever they're doing, what mischief are they curing? I think fundamentally there is no mischief to be cured, because if it is anchored on the quest for leadership, the people of Uganda have just elected their leaders. Have just elected. Now, on the question of consultation, as to whether it is a political consultation or just consulting for the sake, that is also something we need to know, because we talked about rules. But for me, I still want to believe that my friend and brother is still celebrating
The promotion.
his 48th birthday. Because I'm sure, and I was part and parcel of the very first,
48.
the one that was held at the National Council of Sports, the cricket ground. And I believe that my brother and friend is cognizant
Of the rule.
of the rules and regulations for that particular game. And these rules are in black and white. And I want to still state that should he, in the nearby future, decide on his own evolution to join that game fundamentally and in principle, he knows that there are rules that will guide. For now, I would want to believe that it's more of that rule in Parliament of anticipation until we cross the bridge. We have not yet crossed. But as I stated, there are principles that we share in common. When it talks about the next, I may agree with you, but the question is when. When you talk about a standby generator, I may agree with you, but I would tell you that the lights are still on.
But the power
The
is
main
off and
power
on.
line is not yet switched off. It is still on and it is still supplying. So we can have our standby generator, but the main line is still on. Just like we are here, you can see the lights are still bright, implying the main line is still functional. Thank you.
As long as we agree that we have a standby generator and it's thermal powered. Something I want my seniors here to know. Much as we have the MK army. Sabalwanyi, the president of Uganda, he also has a team of Wabazukuru, highly powerful with a network across the country. They have even a wonderful slogan, Omalako Jajja, Tova Kumeyi.
Meaning what?
That is still competent.
Omalako.
Yes, Omalako.
That you are able.
You are able. You can even run in this country up to 2031.
That's what they're saying.
Yes, they have that right to say Omalako Jajja, Tova Kumeyi. You get, they have that right.
What does Toja Kumein mean?
Tova Kumeyi.
Tova Kumein.
Don't give up. We still have hope in you. That's the Bazukuru. Bazukuru telling their grandfather. You get it? And we've met them on several occasions. We are not fighting with them. Because for me, I believe in civilized politics. Even if we disagree, we don't have to quarrel or insult each other. That's what I believe in. They have the right to say President Yoweri Museveni should stand in 2026.
As long as the constitution allows it.
Yes, we also saying,
which it does.
we also requesting the commander-in-chief to retire our lion from the cage. But as long as
does he qualify for retirement?
Why not? He qualifies.
By the way, because I have read, if I think in the act, in the UPDF Act, when you from a certain rank, I have taken long without looking at it, but there are certain basic rules and guidelines on if you are of a certain rank and of a certain age. Their reasons for you to retire are different from when, like it is easier for a captain who is say 55 to be retired than a general, and a full general who is just 48, who has just celebrated 48 years. There you are still more needed in the military. You're really still energetic.
It goes back to the commander-in-chief. He's the one who decides.
If I ask you a question.
So the threshold for your qualification is really high.
Charles.
We are praying also.
Charles, the team has told you very clearly. Charles. Charles. The team has told us very clearly that for them they are tired of NRM. Their ways are not what they support. And they are willing to start another political organization. I read somewhere like National Progressive Movement, NPM. Now, I'm just asking my brother, if the commander-in-chief were to grant your request and release MK tomorrow, and he still remains within the NRM, because he's the chairman of the NRM and the president, he releases you and said, General MK, I've retired you. Would you be comfortable to build your political organization and compete with NRM in 2026?
You know, we can't give our strategies and tactics to our competitors. We can't. Was it 2001? Dr. Kizza Besigye proposed the scrapping of our graduated tax. Yes. After 2 months later, the President Museveni did the same. We cannot give out our strategies on air. But trust me, if General MK is retired from the military tomorrow, we'll be seeing a land, I don't even know, we'll be scoring like 80 to 89%.
But by the way, there's something very interesting from that political house. Some time ago, there was another gentleman from that political house who put pictures all over this town and saying the youth are now here. Went even to West Nile, like you have done, and did the same there. That gentleman is still in that political house. Isn't he coming out? Who? Well, recently you said that nobody should come out of the same political house who is young. So I was wondering whether...
Someone put up posters out?
Oh, yes. This was in the last 2 elections. In fact, here near Golf Course, there was a very big picture of him saying that the youth are here now. Yes.
And where is he now? I don't recall his name.
But you see, I wonder, when does the youth stop? Because everybody is a youth, even with grey hair. They are youth now. So I'm
And
beginning.
it's you seniors who started this.
No,
It's you the seniors.
I never started anything.
Because I remember when we were growing up, I don't recall ever hearing a special project to do with the youth. Never. We hustled like hustlers.
We were the same.
Yes, but
no,
now...
No. That one you better talk to Mr. Gowi, Dr. Gowi, because the ministry is the one which looked at the people of Uganda.
By the way, he's not a doctor, so
He's a professor.
no. It's a totally different issue.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So
the PS for finance?
Yes, I was wondering whether the people in finance, they are the ones who came out with this thing about the youth, the disabled and whatnot. So the question is, the reason I'm saying this is that we've had somebody from the same political house going around the country also putting up these posters and talking about the youth. But he's the one who started, then the NUP group followed.
I'm going to inquire who is
Yeah, do please, because we follow.
From him.
We follow.
Can volunteer
Hey.
information.
We follow.
Sir, can you
He
volunteer?
who alleges.
Yeah. No, I do not allege. Oh, by the way, I am one of the very few people who never allege. It's a fact.
He states.
So you state.
Yes. And my brother there, recently they said, in fact, in one of the tweets, they named that person, that he should not even dare. So the whole point I'm trying to say,
Now I know.
if it is not melodrama, if it is not melodrama, you see, I told you, I never can quote things which are not there. If it is not melodrama, then what is it? Can you please help us? Maybe there's something that we are not getting. What is going on? Give us the real...
But you are part of NRM and they want to dislodge you. So you can't give you our strategies here.
No, the man on SEC is here. I'm no longer on the SEC.
I can tell you, seniors here, we are serious. We want a Uganda that serves all Ugandans.
Let me,
Not a Uganda that serves a
few.
few. That's the Uganda we are working for. But the gentleman you've just talked about, now
can I help you? I saw a tweet by my good friend, Mr. Odrek Rabogo, and this was an early one, where he said, because you had talked about social media, and that social media is now the platform being used. In this tweet, which was trending yesterday, but it was from January 2022, he said,
is it authentic?
Yes, this was early.
January 2020.
He said, every day that we wake up and the country is full of noise with empty politics and shallow succession discussions is a day lost to productive thinking, which goes in line with what the Honorable Chief Whip was saying, and support to our youth, which is what Honorable Babu was referring to. Those who waste time in these useless online chats and those that support them are the ones who are an enemy to our country. He's talking about the need for productive use of time, and that not engaging in the politics of current, excitement, and in line with what the Honorable Chief Whip was saying.
But I even said that, I said it earlier on this show, that we must even change the way people communicate on radio. But if you're talking of my brother Rabogo, he's also always online. So who judges who speaks sense or no sense? He's always on online. So nobody has the capacity to decide that this one is posting no sense or this one is posting rubbish.
So
who is the judge to decide that Gashumba posts rubbish, Charles posts sense? You get it? And I already, by the way...
But there is a government which can guide.
No.
The Obuas are here as
government has no monopoly on information. Government has a monopoly on prisons. You get it?
There's a gentleman who talks about deep state. Maybe let him tell us about deep state.
You get it?
We are left with 3 minutes.
Let me tell you, Rabogo, he's an extremely intelligent person.
Deep state.
But he has no monopoly on information. You get it? The way you don't have monopoly on information. Nobody has a monopoly on information. For me, as the viewer of UBC, I can choose the shows
you want to watch.
Yes. Yeah. On social media, there are people I must check and see. For example, someone that I must read each and everything that he posts is called Andrew Mwenda. You may like him or disagree with him, but he's always accurate with facts. But there are people who call him each and every name you know of. President Yoweri Museveni, I disagree with him on many things, but I can never miss his speech. Never. And even my people at home know it. If he's on TV, they must record him. Dr. Kizza Besigye, those are the two people I don't miss. In the parliament, there are people like Ssemuju Nganda. Okay, there are issues with the parliament. You know how our MPs debate. But there are people, what did Ssemuju say? If Ssemuju is on a local radio station, I'll tune in. You get it? That doesn't mean that Ssemuju is the supreme and the omega of wisdom. It's us, we the Ugandans, to say that, you know what, this guy has a point. That's the way I think things should be. We are on UBC now. There are Ugandans watching movies. It's their right. But you cannot say that those who are on social media, they are posting rubbish and nonsense. Tell us, by the way, you are party to this government now. You are senior presidential advisor. Tell us solutions you are coming up with.
Okay. Good. Way forward.
No, thank you very much, Charles and viewers. This has been quite an interesting discussion. The youth are becoming restless. And I think as the leaders of this country, we need to provide opportunities for them. And every Ugandan should find space and freedom to express themselves in any form of political organization that they prefer. And everything that we do, we must do it within the ambits of the law. I would agree that currently the economy is not doing very well. And politicking is not one of the things I would recommend at the moment. I think let's focus and deal with these fundamentals and see where we are going to go and how much we are going to recover, because without the stability of our country in terms of the economic welfare, there's very little much that we can do. And then secondly, the pillars, the vanguard of our democracy, of the states, is the army. We must do everything possible to make sure that that institution is safeguarded. Okay. And respected. In line, I mean, politics, we can do anything, but that institution is fundamental.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Honorable Chief Whip.
Thank you so much. I want to state that politics notwithstanding, it's important in the spirit of the pronouncement by the president, in order for us to leave matters of elections at this point in time, to come back one day and debate the economic question of the day.
Yeah.
What Brother Kashumba was talking about. What is it that these many young people in Uganda do not